Okay. So first, reproductive system. We are going to start a new system. Reproductive system is not an essential system for individual body. You know, our urinary system, cardiovascular system, nervous system, all those systems are essential. But reproductive system is not essential for individual body. Like, you know, if you dissect your reproductive system out, still you will survive. You know that we always, you know, remove the uterus or ovaries, right, or other parts of the reproductive system. Still the person is alive and almost normal life. So, almost. Some issues, complications may occur, but it doesn't bother the life. Okay, so that's why reproductive system is not an essential system, but it is the most interesting system in our body. And because of reproductive system, we can distinguish male and female, right? We can separate male from female. The appearances are different. So all those things are given by the hormones come from the reproductive system. That is the most interesting system in the nature, because you know that not only in human, many creatures, there's so much diversity is present in reproductive system. You know, in some creatures, they have both male and female reproductive systems in the same body. They fertilize their own egg, so they produce sperm and egg and fertilize their own egg. Some creatures, they in early life, first half of their life, they are male, and in last half they become female. So they can change the reproductive system. Okay, so a lot of if you Google, you'll find a lot of interesting things are you know, existing in the nature regarding the reproductive system. Also, if you see the fertilization, in human, the fertilization takes place inside the body, right? But in many creatures, they fertilize the egg outside of the body in many interesting ways. So that's why reproductive system is very diverse, as well as extremely interesting system. But not an essential for individual life. But now think, if I tell that from now next 120 or 50 years, no reproductive system will work, then what will happen? The mankind will be completely gone, right? Abolished. So it is an extremely powerful system in our body too. So not essential for individual, but essential for mankind. Okay. Anyway, so this is the only system which is completely different in male and female. All other systems are same, but reproductive system is completely different. Male reproductive system is less complex than female reproductive system. The female reproductive system is more complicated. You know the reason, because female reproductive system not only produces egg, but it maintains the pregnancy, right? Fertilization takes place inside the female reproductive system, as well as the pregnancy and labor, delivery. All those things occur in female. Male just produces sperm, that's all. So female reproductive system performs much more function than male, and that's why it is more complex or complicated. Anyway, so today, since you like the male reproductive system, I wanted to start with female, but you said you want male. So today we'll talk about the male reproductive system. First, we'll talk about the parts of reproductive system. We'll talk about the parts of both male and female reproductive system first. Then we'll talk about the pathway of sperm. You know that the main function of male reproductive system is the production of sperm. After the sperm is produced, how the sperm gets out from the body. What's the pathway of the sperm? We'll talk about that. Spermatogenesis is the process of production of sperm. So how the sperm is produced, we'll see that. Then we'll talk about the glands of male reproductive system. What are the glands present in male reproductive system? We'll see that. And what type of secretion occurs in the gland. Then we'll talk about the primary male reproductive organ, that's the testis. Okay, so we'll talk about the testis. You know that male body has two testes usually. So those are the primary male reproductive organs. We'll talk about that. And then we'll talk about scrotum. Scrotum is a sac in which the testes are located. You know that. Scrotum performs a very important function. What is that? It regulates the temperature, maintains the temperature of the testis. And that optimum temperature is very important for spermatogenesis. If the temperature inside the scrotum is not maintained, then the spermatogenesis might not occur. So for spermatogenesis or production of sperm, we need a fixed temperature, and that is maintained by the scrotum. Then we'll talk about the structure of a sperm. What are the parts, if you see under the microscope, what are the parts present in a sperm? So first we'll talk about the parts of reproductive system. Both male and female reproductive systems have two parts: primary reproductive organs and accessory reproductive organs. Both male and female, okay, have two parts. In case of male, the primary reproductive organs are testes. In case of female, primary reproductive organs are ovaries. And accessory reproductive organs are ducts, glands, and external genitalia. So in both male and female reproductive systems, we have accessory organs. What are those? Those are ducts, glands, and external genitalia. Now, why testes and ovaries are called primary reproductive organs? Just think that if I ask you what's the function of the testis, production of sperm. That's the main function of the testis, right? What's the main function of an ovary? Production of egg or ovum, right? So, if I ask you, can you do fertilization outside of the body? Nowadays, you know that in vitro fertilization can be done, right? We can take the sperm from male body, take the ovum from female body, and can do the fertilization outside of the body. In a petri dish, you can do that. So, we don't need the ducts, glands, or external genitalia to do the fertilization. We can do without those structures. But if I ask you, can you produce a sperm? Of course you can, but if I ask you, can you produce a sperm outside of the body? You cannot. Can you produce an egg outside of the body? You cannot, right? So, even we know how to do in vitro fertilization outside of the body, but we don't know how to make a sperm or how to make an ovum. We must get the sperm from male testes. We must get the ovum from female ovary. That's why the testes and ovaries are the primary or main reproductive organs. Without them, we cannot do anything. Okay. But we can ignore the ducts, glands, or external genitalia and can do fertilization. Anyway, so the primary reproductive organs are also called gonads. So male gonads are testes, female gonads are ovaries. Okay, so gonads are the primary reproductive organs. Okay. And gametes are the sperm and eggs. Those are called gametes. So testes and ovaries. Okay. And gametes are sperm and ovum. Okay. So don't confuse between those two, gonads and gametes. Sometimes students confuse between these two. Gonads are the organs, primary sex organs, and gametes are the cells, sperm and egg. Now, gonads perform a number of important functions. Of course, in case of male, testes produce sperm, and in case of female, ovaries produce egg. That is the main function. So if I ask you, what's the number one function of gonads? Production of sex cells, sperm and ovum. Those are the sex cells. So production of sex cells, that's the main function of the gonads. Male gonads produce male sex cells, sperm. Female gonads produce female sex cells, ovum. That is number one function. Number two, production of sex hormones. In case of male, testis produces testosterone, the male sex hormone. In case of female, ovaries produce female sex hormones, estrogen, progesterone. Okay? So just remember those two very important functions are performed by the gonads. Production of hormone and production of sex cells. Now, the sex hormones, testosterone in male, estrogen, progesterone in female, they perform a number of important functions in our body. Number one, development and function of the reproductive organs. So the growth, number one, the growth and maintaining the function of reproductive organs are controlled by the sex hormones. Number two, growth and development of secondary sex characteristics. That is another important function of sex hormones. Growth and development of secondary sex characteristics. Now, what are the secondary sex characteristics? Secondary sex characteristics are the characteristics by looking them we can distinguish or separate male and female. So the external appearances, by looking those we can separate a male from a female. Those are the secondary sex characteristics. Those are also given by the sex hormones. So can you name a couple of male secondary sex characteristics? How you can separate a male from a female? Yes. Loud, right? In male, the voice is deep and loud. In female, high pitch. You can hear from far, although it's not loud. That is one, right? Tell me another one.
Whatever produces facial hair.
Distribution of hair, right? Distribution of hair is different in male, like presence of facial hair. Very good. Anything else you can think? What is this? Yeah, prominence, laryngeal prominence. Okay? Is present in male, not in female. This is interesting. This, you know this cartilage, thyroid cartilage, right? Thyroid cartilage is the largest laryngeal cartilage. And this cartilage is sensitive to testosterone. At puberty, when testosterone production starts, then that testosterone increases the size of the thyroid cartilage. That's why laryngeal prominence is seen in male.
Does that
after adulthood
contribute to the voice, do you think?
No, it doesn't have anything to do with that. Okay. another one is in male, usually, not always true, that skeletal muscles are more prominent, right? So more masculine body, prominence of the skeletal muscles. That is another male secondary sex characteristics. Anything else you can take?
Broader shoulder.
Broader shoulder, yes.
Testosterone.
And
Estrogen.
baldness, right?
Narrower hips.
Yes. And also baldness. Baldness occurs in male. So those are male secondary sex characteristics. By looking those, we can easily distinguish male from female. So that is another important function of the sex hormones. And last, sexual behavior and drives. So you know that male behavior is different than female, and that is also controlled by the hormones. And the sex drive, that is also given by the sex hormones. So those are the important functions of sex hormones in our body. Okay. So now we know that the primary male reproductive organs are testes, and in male body there are 2 testes inside the scrotum. Now accessory organs are external genitalia like penis and scrotum. Accessory sex glands. What are the male sex glands? Or the glands present in male reproductive system? Seminal vesicles, prostate, and bulbourethral gland. Those 3 types of glands are present in male reproductive system. So first we will see the structure and function of the scrotum. Scrotum is a sac in which the testes are located, and scrotum hangs outside the abdominopelvic cavity. So it is not inside the abdominopelvic cavity, it is outside, located outside, and contains paired testes. Inside the scrotum, this is very important, inside the scrotum, the temperature should be 3 degrees Celsius lower than the core body temperature. If you measure the temperature inside the body, which is 3 degrees Celsius higher than the temperature inside the scrotum. So that temperature is very important for the testes to produce sperm. That's why the testes are located not inside the body or not inside the abdominopelvic cavity, but outside of the abdominopelvic cavity. Because inside the abdominopelvic cavity the temperature is high, and at that high temperature spermatogenesis will not occur correctly. Okay? That's why we need the lower temperature, which is optimum for the spermatogenesis. And you know, some people love to sit in very hot water for a long time, right? That is not good for boys. Okay? The spermatogenesis may, stop. So, okay. Now, how the temperature is maintained by the scrotum? You know that the scrotum changes the size. 2 muscles help in maintaining the temperature inside the scrotum. What are those 2 muscles? One muscle that is called dartus muscle, which is located in the wall of the scrotum. So dartus muscle is present in the wall of the scrotum. Another muscle that holds the testes hanging inside the scrotum. So if this is the testis, another muscle is attached to the testis from the top, from above, and hangs the testis or holds the testis inside the scrotum. That is called cremaster muscle. Okay? So one is present in the wall of the scrotum, another is attached to the testis from above and keeps the testis hanging inside the scrotum. Okay, so here you see this is the scrotum and two testes are inside. Now if you see the wall of the scrotum, the darkest muscle here, they have shown here, darkest muscle is present in the wall of the scrotum. And this muscle, you see many muscle fibers, this muscle is called the cremaster muscle. Okay? Cremaster muscle that comes from above and get attached to the testis. Now, how those two muscles help in the regulation of temperature? When the temperature outside of the body decreases in cold weather, when the temperature in outside of the body is very low, what happens? These two muscles contract. So when the darkest muscle, which is present in the wall of the scrotum, contracts, the size of the scrotum will get smaller. Make sense? So the scrotum size will get smaller. So when the scrotum will get smaller, it will move towards the body, towards the pelvic part of the body. And also, the cremaster muscle fibers will contract. So when the cremaster muscle fibers will contract, it will, the muscle will move the testis upwards. So you see those two actions, the contraction of darkest muscle and the contraction of cremaster muscle will move the testis up. If the body temperature increases for some reason, then the testis should move away from the body, right? Because inside the testis, the temperature should be lower, should be maintained less than body. Okay, so when body temperature increases, testis should move away from the body. How that happens? These two muscles will relax. So when these two muscles will relax, the scrotum will get bigger, so the testis will go away from the body, and the cremaster muscle fibers will relax, so also that will move the testis further down. Okay, so just think that what's the purpose? If the body temperature increases, testis should go away from the body, right? If the outside temperature increases, then the testis temperature in the testis should increase, so they should move up towards the body because the body is warmer than outside, right? So the testis should move up. Now, spermatic cord. This structure is the spermatic cord, and inside the spermatic cord you will find a number of structures. What are the structures you will find inside the spermatic cord? You will find, of course, cremaster muscle or muscle fibers. You will find the blood vessels, artery and vein. Another important thing you will find, ductus deferens or vas deferens. It is a tube. Arises from the testis and goes upwards. Okay, so that ductus deferens and vas deferens is also present inside the spermatic cord.
What are the other ones?
Blood vessels, cremaster muscle, nerve plexus, all those are present inside that. So here you see this is the intact spermatic cord. So if you cut the covering of the spermatic cord, first you will see the cremaster muscle fibers. Now if you remove the cremaster muscle fibers, they have shown here, they have removed the cremaster muscle fibers. So you see other structures. Ductus deferens or vas deferens, that's a tube. Okay, and blood vessels, artery and vein, venous plexus, and nerve fibers. Those are the things you will find inside the spermatic cord. Okay. Okay, now the main function of the testis is the production of sperm. Now we know that sperm is produced inside the testis, but where? Exactly where? If you cut the testis and see inside, the testis are filled, heavily filled with tube-like structures, heavily packed with by tube-like structures. Those tube-like structures are called seminiferous tubules. Okay, so testes are heavily filled with seminiferous tubules, and so heavily filled with seminiferous tubules like this. And if you cut the tube and see under the microscope, so make a cross section of the tube and see, this is the lumen and this is the wall of the seminiferous tubule, and the production of sperm or spermatogenesis occurs in the wall of the seminiferous tubule. So what happens here, primitive cells, the stem cells, are present in the very outer part of the wall of the seminiferous tubule, and then from those primitive cells the sperm are produced. Like from these stem cells the sperm are produced, and then they start to move towards the lumen. Okay? They start to move inwards towards the lumen, and as they move inwards they get matured. Okay, they gradually get matured, and when the sperm reaches here close to the lumen, the shape of the sperm changes. Initially these sperm, they are round shaped. Okay, and as they move towards the lumen they change their shapes and becomes elongated, and this is the actual shape of the sperm. So they get tail and body and head part. Anyway, so maturation takes place as the sperm move towards the lumen. So the production starts from the very outer part of the wall where the stem cells are, and then the cells or sperms, they start to move towards the lumen, and finally the mature sperm will get detached from the wall and will start to float inside the lumen. Okay, so that's how the spermatogenesis takes place. So we can say that spermatogenesis occurs in the wall of the seminiferous tubule. Now, if you see the structure of the testis has two outer coverings. What are those two coverings? Tunics are the layers, so two layers in the outer covering, tunica vaginalis and tunica albuginea. Tunica vaginalis derived from the peritoneal membrane, you know that, that covers the abdominopelvic cavity, and that goes down inside the scrotum and covers the testis. So tunica vaginalis is the outer one, and then tunica albuginea, that's the fibrous capsule. So those two are the coverings of the outer covering of the testis. Now, if you see inside the testis, you will see 250 to 300 lobules are present inside the testis, and in each lobule you will find 1 to 4 seminiferous tubules, and the lobules are separated by septa. So septa are actually membrane-like partitions. They separate inside part of the testis into 250 to 300 lobules, and in each lobule you will find 1 to 4 seminiferous tubules, like coiled tube. And you know that in the wall of those tubules the spermatogenesis takes place. Okay? Now, blood supply of the testis comes from the testicular artery, and the deoxygenated blood goes back to the testicular vein. And we have talked about this spermatic cord already. What are the things you will find inside the spermatic cord? I have showed you the structures. Here in this picture you see the structure of a testis. So first the outer covering, see tunica vaginalis, and tunica albuginea. Albuginea is the inner one and vaginalis is the outer one. And inside the testis, you see here the seminiferous tubules. Okay? And the spermatogenesis occurs in the wall of the seminiferous tubules. Then after the sperm is released here inside the lumen of the seminiferous tubule, the sperm starts to move outwards. So from the seminiferous tubule, first the sperm will enter into the rete testis, this area. You see like interconnected tubes, network kind structure that is called rete testis. Okay? And who will take the sperm from the seminiferous tubule to rete testis? This straight tubule, very short but straight, that will take the sperm from the seminiferous tubule to rete testis, which is a network kind of structure. Then from there, through the efferent duct tube, the sperm will enter into the head portion of the epididymis. Epididymis is a comma-shaped structure attached to the testis. So if this is the testis, epididymis is like this, a comma-shaped structure attached to the testis. And this is the head of epididymis. You are looking inside the epididymis, not from outside. So this is the head of the epididymis. So from rete testis, the sperm will enter into the head portion of the epididymis through the efferent duct tube. And then from the head, the sperm will enter into the body portion of the epididymis. From the body, it will reach to the tail. So epididymis has three parts, right? Head, body, and tail. So sperm will pass through all those three parts and will arrive at the tail of the epididymis. From there, you see that tubule starts to move upwards, and at one point the tubule will get straight, and that is the ductus deferens or vas deferens. And the sperm will enter into the ductus deferens, and will start to move upwards through the ductus deferens. Okay, so that's why ductus deferens is present inside the spermatic cord, because you see that ductus deferens is going up and entering inside the spermatic cord. So if you open the spermatic cord, you will also find the ductus deferens or vas deferens. Okay. So that's how the spermatogenesis occurs and the sperm travels. Now, if you see this picture, this is the epididymis from outside. Okay, so it's a comma-shaped structure attached to the testis, and this is the ductus deferens or vas deferens, and then the ductus deferens starts to move up and enter into the pelvic cavity. Okay, enters into the pelvic cavity, and the last part of ductus deferens, this part, if you look, is expanded or wider. That expanded part is called the ejaculatory, that's called the ampulla of ductus deferens. This expanded part, end part of ductus deferens is called the ampulla of ductus deferens. Okay? And the ampulla join with the duct of the seminal vesicle. This is the seminal vesicle. One glands in male reproductive system. You remember I mentioned 3 glands. So this is one of those, seminal vesicle, and the duct of seminal vesicle meet with the ampulla of the ductus deferens here. They join together and form the ejaculatory duct. Okay, so this is the ejaculatory duct. Then ejaculatory duct ends in the urethra, prostatic part of the urethra. This is the prostate, and you know different parts of the urethra already. So the ejaculatory duct ends in the prostatic urethra, and then the sperm gets out from the body to the urethra. Okay, so it travels through the urethra and gets out from the body. So that's the complete pathway of sperm. So now, if we see which structures the sperm passes through, first sperm is produced in the wall of the seminiferous tubule and is released into the lumen of the seminiferous tubule, and first travels through the seminiferous tubule and then through the straight. Rectus means straight, so they have mentioned tubulus rectus or straight tubule. Same thing, okay? You already know the meaning of rectus, straight. Then the sperm will enter into that network of tubule, that is the retitestis. From there it will enter into the different ductule, and head of the epididymis, body of the epididymis, and will pass through the tail of the epididymis, will enter into ductus deferens or vas deferens. The tube runs through the spermatic cord, and then will enter into the ejaculatory duct and into the urethra, and will get out from the body through the urethra. Now, when the spermatic cord is located in the inguinal region or inguinal part, this area, and present very superficial, just under the skin in that part. So just under the skin, if you cut the skin of the inguinal part of the body, you will find the spermatic cord. And since we know that the ductus deferens or vas deferens is present inside the spermatic cord, right? Present inside the spermatic cord. So you can easily get or reach to the ductus deferens here, right? Because it is just under the skin. The spermatic cord is under the skin. So if you cut the skin here, you can take the forceps and take the spermatic cord out like this, right? It's a cord, so you can just put like this and take out and make fine incision and take the ductus deferens or vas deferens out the tube, and you can cut it. And if you cut it, then the sperm will not get out from the body. Okay? So that is called what? Vasectomy. Okay? So vasectomy is very simple surgery. You can do it if you want. You can ask the person to lie on the table here and take the forceps from there and scalpel and make incision and take it, cut with scissors. Don't try on your husband. And this is one of the simplest surgery you can do. You can cut and leave it, or you can tie or fuse the head of the tubes.
But the tubes can grow back together.
Yes, that's why leaving, if you cut and leave, that is not safe. But still that will work. But there is chance they will come close and get fused, right? So it is always good if you tie or fuse them with your proper.
So if they're tied, you can untie them and
Yeah. Yeah, you can do that. Yes.
Well, even if you cauterize, you can still snip off both
Right,
tips
right, and
still
join
grow
them.
back together.
The
So
tubes
they're
are
always
fine.
reversible.
So that is very simple. But boys don't like it. They want their wives to do that.
Yeah,
Right?
they have to go to full surgery. You
In case of female, it's more.
Yeah, it's like an outpatient procedure for big babies.
Yeah.
They don't do that.
Yeah, a woman used to do it.
Developed thyroids. Got it.
Okay. This is the cross section of a seminiferous tubule. You can see the wall of the seminiferous tubule here, and this is the lumen. And in the wall of the seminiferous tubule, you see the cells are present in different shapes and sizes. The reason is, as I have mentioned, the stem cells are present in the very outer part, and from there the sperms are produced and they start to move towards the lumen. And as they move towards the lumen, the shape and size of the sperm changes. Initially they are round, but at the end part they become elongated. They get head, body and tail part, that's why they become elongated, and then detached from the wall and enters into the lumen and they start to swim there. Okay, now we'll talk about the external genitalia. In case of male, external genitalia are penis and scrotum. We have talked about the scrotum and its function. Now we'll talk about the penis. Penis consists of a root and shaft and glans penis. So three parts. Root is the part attached to the body. The shaft is the middle part, and at the end you have the glans penis. And the skin that covers the glans penis part, that is called foreskin. And sometimes we surgically remove the foreskin part. That is called circumcision. Okay, you know that circumcision is done in many people. That is the surgical removal of the foreskin. Okay, and crus is singular and crura is plural. Crura are the tissue that attaches the penis to the body. Okay, so first we'll see those parts. So you'll see this part is called the root of penis. Okay, first part. Then the shaft of penis, and this is the glans penis. Okay, and this is the foreskin that covers the glans penis. Now, sometimes we surgically remove that foreskin, that is called circumcision, and the tissue that connects the penis to the body, that is the crus or crura. Crura, when we indicate more than one, it's a crura. Crus is one. Okay, so those are the parts. Now, if you see inside the shaft of the penis, you will find two types of structures. One, paired structure, that is called corpora cavernosa. These two, corpora cavernosa. And another structure that is in the center part and through which the urethra passes. That part is called corpora spongiosa. So corpora cavernosa and corpora spongiosum, those are two structures. Now corpora cavernosa, this is a cross section of the penis, and this is the longitudinal section. So here, these two are corpora cavernosa, and this tissue, only one actually, like round, and through which the urethra passes. Okay, so you see the urethra, and the tissue around the urethra, that is the corpora spongiosum. Okay, so now if you make cross section and see These two are corpora cavernosa, and this is corpora spongiosum, and this is the urethra. So urethra is present inside the corpora spongiosum. That's the easiest way to say which one is spongiosum, which one are cavernosa. Cavernosa are two, and through the cavernosa, the blood vessels, those are called deep arteries of penis. Those blood vessels, deep arteries of penis, passes through the cavernosa, and through the spongiosum, urethra passes. Okay? And corpora cavernosa is mainly responsible for the enlargement and erection of the penis. How corpora cavernosa helps in those two things? Corpora cavernosa is a tissue that has many sinuses inside. So in that tissue, there are many sinuses. Sinuses are like empty spaces. And those spaces, when get filled with blood, then the enlargement and the erection of penis occurs. Okay. So very simple method, like there are many sinuses or spaces inside the cavernosa, and blood enters into those spaces, and that causes the enlargement and erection of the penis. When the blood returns into the blood vessels, then the erection is there. Okay? So that's the mechanism. Yes.
So just to make everybody really uncomfortable, so when you cut the duct, is that what is responsible for a male having orgasms? How does that still happen? If the, like, is the ejaculation process what
Ejaculation
is, or?
ejaculation occurs inside the body.
Right, but I mean, so if a male has a vasectomy, will he still have an orgasm? How does that whole physiological process still happen?
Physiological process is mainly inside the nervous system.
So it's a mental thing?
So he can
Not
still
mental,
have a full
reflex.
orgasm, he still shoots stuff out, there's just no little.
Goes inside the body. Just stays inside the body. Only the urethra and last part of the duct, the vas deferens and ductus deferens, that those two things do what? Just transport,
Okay.
right? But the all other things take place in the nervous system and in your reflex and pleasure. So that's.
So one has nothing to do with the other?
Yeah, just the transport part is.
Just to clarify.
No, that's fine. It's a good question. So now you can ask that, since the semen and the sperm, they are not getting out from the body, what happens to them? Semen is mainly water, okay? That will be easily absorbed into the body. Sperm will die and will be absorbed and phagocytized by the phagocytic cells and absorbed. Because the main thing here is, since they are produced inside your body, our bodies, the sperm and semen, they don't have any microorganisms or it's pure, right? It's like sterile things. So you don't need to be scared that it's staying inside the body. It's like body fluid. You have plenty of body fluids inside the body, right? It's like body fluid. So you don't need to be scared that what's going on inside. If it goes from outside, even a small amount, that could be dangerous, right? But anything produced inside the body is pure. Okay, you already know the parts of the urethra. We have talked in the urinary system, different parts of the urethra. Now, the glands. In male reproductive system, 3 types of glands are present. What are those? We have 2 seminal vesicles, 1 prostate, and 2 bulbourethral glands. Okay? So 2 seminal vesicles, one prostate and two bulbourethral glands. Those are the glands in male reproductive system. Seminal vesicles produce 70% of the volume of semen. So the maximum amount of semen comes from the seminal vesicles, 70%. And the secretion is, or the fluid that is produced by the seminal vesicle is viscous alkaline, slightly alkaline fluid, okay, or secretion. Now, prostate produces the fluid which is slightly acidic. So, in case of seminal vesicles, the fluid or secretion is slightly alkaline. In case of prostate, the prostatic fluid or secretion is slightly acidic. And prostatic secretion is milky, but seminal secretion is viscous, thick. The prostatic secretion plays a role in the activation of sperm. So sperm becomes active with the help of the prostatic secretion. Partially. Remember that sperm is not 100% active until the sperm enters into the female body. It is interesting, right? So sperm is partially activated by the prostatic fluid, but it is still not 100% capable or active until it travels inside the female body. Okay, now the bulbourethral glands are two very small pea-sized glands, and they are present in the urogenital diaphragm. You will see in pictures. They are located in the urogenital diaphragm and secretes thick, clear mucus. So the bulbourethral glands, they secrete thick, clear mucus type secretion, and that secretion, the main function of bulbourethral secretion is it is slippery and keeps the wall of the urethra slippery and smooth. Okay, so if bulbourethral secretion is small or no secretion occurs from the bulbourethral gland, then the wall of the urethra will get what? Rough. Okay, and that will be painful. So bulbourethral gland keeps the wall of the urethra slippery and smooth.
Do females have those too?
Okay, so see here, three functions. If I ask you seminal fluid, seminal vesicle produces how much fluid? Semen, 70% volume of semen, right? What type of secretion? Slightly alkaline. And now, if I ask you what's the main function of seminal vesicles? The production of semen, okay? Semen is mainly produced by the seminal vesicle. Now, the prostate. How many prostate the male has? How many prostate the female has? Zero. Okay. So the prostatic secretion is what type of secretion? Slightly acidic. Okay. And what's the function of that? Mainly activation of the sperm. Okay. And bulbourethral glands are very small, located in the urogenital diaphragm, and they secrete mucus type secretion, which is slippery and keeps the wall of the urethra slippery. Okay. And prevents the friction. Okay. Now we'll talk about
it being acidic, is it true that people can get like allergic to it, like a woman, by the different level of acidity?
Certainly, it is possible. Certainly, it is possible. But see that seminal is acidic, right? Phosphatic is alkaline. Phosphatic is acidic. Seminal is alkaline, right? They get mixed together and become kind of neutral. So it's not like they are getting out separately. They all get mixed together. Okay? After they perform their function, they are all together. So the pH is not like acidic or alkaline, almost.
But what if, when they're mixed together, the acidic there's more of that than
Right.
the alkaline kind. So in that case, then would it?
Yeah, in that case, of course, it can cause kind of irritation or acidic feeling in or yes, that can happen. Yes.
Because I heard that, I was like, that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, so spermatogenesis. Genesis is the production or formation, and spermatogenesis is the process of the production of sperm, mature sperm. And you have seen that spermatogenesis occurs in the wall of the seminiferous tubule, right? And I have shown you in the very outer part, what type of cells are these?
Stem cells.
Stem cells, very good. And those cells are called spermatogonium. You see all the way up, that's the most outer part of the wall. So spermatogonium are the stem cells located here. And spermatogonium or stem cells will multiply by mitosis just to produce many new cells. So stem cells are always there and will keep producing new cells because sperm will get out from the body and we need more sperm. So the stem cells or spermatogonium will continuously produce new cells. By what? Mitosis. And mitosis is the type of cell division that keeps the chromosome number what? Same. Two types of cell divisions you know probably, mitosis and meiosis. Mitosis will keep the chromosome number same, and meiosis will do what? Will reduce the chromosome number to half. So first multiplication will occur by mitosis because the stem cells will not do anything with the chromosome, it will just produce new cells. Okay? Then the new cells are called primary spermatocytes. So from the stem cells or spermatogonium, primary spermatocytes will be produced. And then primary spermatocyte will go through meiosis type of cell division. And remember, in meiosis, number one, the number of chromosome reduces to half, right? And one mother cell will finally produce 4 cells. At the end of meiosis, from one cell, how many cells will get? 4. And each of those 4 cells has haploid or half number of chromosomes. So here you see primary spermatocyte that will go through meiosis and will produce 4 cells, and those cells have half number of chromosomes. Here 2n and here n. Anyway, so first the meiosis 1 will take place and then meiosis 2. Meiosis has 2 phases. Meiosis or 2 steps. Meiosis 1 will produce 2 cells from one cell, then meiosis 2 will produce 4 cells from those 2 cells. So when the primary spermatocyte will go through meiosis 1, 2 new cells will be produced, and those 2 cells have half number of chromosomes, and those are called secondary spermatocytes. Then secondary spermatocytes will produce total 4 cells. Those are called early spermatid. And then the round cells will start to change the shape and will become elongated. And those elongated cells are now called late spermatid. Late spermatids have head part, mid piece, and tail. This is head, this is called mid piece, and this is the tail. This is very close to the mature sperm. Looks like very similar to mature sperm. Then further maturation will occur, and late spermatids will become spermatozoa. Spermatozoa are the mature sperm. Okay? So spermatogonium are the stem cells, and the spermatozoa are the mature sperm. And then they will get detached from the wall and will enter into the lumen. Okay? So if I ask you what's the difference between mitosis and meiosis, there are few differences. A couple of them I have already mentioned. So mitosis and meiosis, one is occurs in all body cells. Meiosis only occurs in sex cells. Why meiosis should only occur in sex cells? The sex cells should have, the mature sex cells should have half number of chromosomes, because when fertilization occurs, right, before fertilization, the sperm and the ovum should have half number of chromosomes, and when they will get together, that's the first cell of the body, right, first cell of life. So when they will get together, that will make, the chromosomes will get mixed, and that will make the 46, okay, the regular number of chromosomes. So all our body cells will have how many chromosomes? 46, right? And the sex cells, mature sex cells, have 23. This is coming from father, sperm, egg coming from mother, and each has 23, and then the first cell of the body should have 46. Then this one will divide by mitosis, and mitosis will keep the chromosome number same. Okay, so this is mitosis. Okay, so from the first cell of the body, all cells will be produced by mitosis, because the chromosome number should be maintained 46, right? But here we have seen that meiosis takes place from 46. The number should go down to 23 by meiosis. So during the maturation of the sex cells, the meiosis should occur to reduce the number to half, both in male and female. So meiosis only occurs in sex cells, and mitosis reduces chromosome numbers. Oh, it doesn't reduce, it keeps the chromosome number. Mitosis keeps chromosome number same, 46. Meiosis reduces the chromosome number to half or haploid. Okay. Mitosis, we can say that mitosis has only one phase or stage. But meiosis has two phases. Okay. So occurs in two, I think S, right? Phases. Yeah, two S. No, is it right? Okay. So those are the important differences between mitosis and meiosis. Okay, here you have already seen that the spermatogenesis takes place in the wall of the seminiferous tubule. Now, if you see a mature sperm under the microscope, it has three parts: head part, midpiece, and tail. When the spermatogenesis occurs, the nucleus of the cell moves towards the head portion. So in the head, you will find the nucleus, and chromosomes and genes or DNAs are present inside the nucleus, you know that. That's why the head portion of the sperm is called genetic region. Why? Because the nucleus is there, and nucleus has the genes or chromosomes and DNA. The mitochondria will move to the midpiece part. So all mitochondria will be lined up in the midpiece part of the sperm, and that's why that portion is called metabolic region, because you know that metabolism occurs inside the mitochondria. Just in last class you have learned it.
The mitochondria, it's not actually passed on to the child, it's just used as a battery source for the sperm. Is that right?
You know that sperm has to move a lot, right?
Right.
Move the tail and travel a lot. That's why it needs a lot of ATPs
Right.
to move the tail. That's why many mitochondria guys works like battery of any toy. You put the battery, right? It's like that. So
Right.
like in the,
But the sperm doesn't actually pass that on to the egg. The egg gets the mitochondria from the mother, isn't that right? It's only maternal mitochondria.
we don't say that egg, but the nutrition. Yes, nutrition is the source of energy. You know that egg like chicken egg, which is what? An ovum, fertilized ovum, right? Chicken egg is only one single cell.
Right.
It is a single cell, or ostrich, or big, right? But it is a single cell. But why it is so big? Because in that single cell, lot of fat, you know, inside that yellow part is fat, right? And protein, the white part. Fat and proteins are stored because after fertilization, the cell will start to multiply very fast, right? Very
Right.
quick multiplication. So the cells will need a lot of energy and nutrition. Energy will come from the those nutrients, proteins and fat. But you are saying that if mitochondria are not present in the egg, I don't know that.
I was wondering, they're passed down genetically, correct? I thought it was a maternal thing. I was wondering if the mother just gave it to him in the blood, or if it was actually in the egg already. Never mind, just continue the lesson.
Mitochondria DNA are passed down from mom. Yeah.
Yes.
Sugar forensic shows.
Okay.
So this is very interesting that the egg or ovum, you know, stores so much food or nutrients like proteins and fat. For the fat part will give energy. You know that we get more ATPs from fat, right? So that fat is very helpful to provide energy. and the protein, the growth of the structure. So the midpiece part is called the metabolic part because the mitochondria go there. Tail portion is called the locomotion part because tail flips like this and help in the movement of the sperm. It's like baby fish, the tail will continuously beat and will help the movement of the sperm. Sperm travels first it travels through the male body and then it travels through the female body parts. Okay, so there is a covering on the head. You see, the head has a nice cap. The cap of the head is called acrosome. So it's a very smart guy. He has a cap on the head, and that cap is called the acrosome, and that cap contains fluid. That fluid is slightly acidic fluid. Also, we can say it's digestive fluid, and that helps in the destruction of the wall of the ovum. When the sperm gets attached to the ovum, then it has to dig in, should go inside, right? Inside the egg. So it must destroy the wall of the egg first. So that secretion from the acrosome helps in the digestion or destruction of the wall of the egg. Okay? So they will enter into the egg. So that is called hydrolytic enzyme. It's a digestive type fluid. Now, male infertility is common, you know. What can cause male infertility? Abnormal sperms. Very good. So, what type of abnormality could be seen in the sperm? You know that this is the normal sperm, right? Has a head and a midpiece and a tail. This is the normal sperm. When you go to the doctor to check what's the reason of infertility, what they will do, they will first take the semen and examine under the microscope. Very simple method. They will see two things. One is the number of sperm in the semen. If it is normal, the number of the sperm. If the quantity is less, that could be one reason of infertility. Okay? So infertile person could have less number of sperm in the semen. Another thing, they will see the shape of the sperm. In many cases, we see, if this is, you are looking under the microscope, in many cases of infertility, we see that the head and tail are not attached. In some cases they are attached, but in many cases they are not attached, they are detached. So head and tail, you will see they are separated. It's like you chop the head from the body, as part of the body. You will see that. In some cases, you may see one head, but what? Double tail sperm. So if the sperm has two tails, then just think that one tail will move in one direction, another will move in another direction, and the boat will not move forward. It's like you are paddling the boat in different ways, so it will just, circle there. So that can happen. In some cases, we see two-headed, double-headed sperm, one tail but two heads. Okay. In that case, the head is heavy, so the tail is not strong enough to move the sperm fast, okay? If the head is heavy, then one tail is not enough to move it. So those are the abnormalities we see in the sperm, okay?